friends, welcome back to my channel, my book corner, as you can see. So today we're going to discuss some of the books that I recommend for fall. These are going to be like some really cozy reads. So I don't have a whole lot, mainly because apparently my taste is more of the dark and kind of like epic. But I do like to throw in a little bit of cozy, a little bit of romance, that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. So the first book today that I'm going to recommend, it's a fan favorite, probably one of my favorite series of all times. And it ends up getting darker later on in the series, but I mean, you still can't beat it. It's Harry Potter. I mean, I know there's some controversy with some things that J.K. Rowling, whatever. I'm not real privy to that. I try to stay out of that stuff. So, but this one, Harry Potter, and specifically like the first 3 are really good. I mean, it's young witches and wizards going to school, learning about witchcraft, getting into some mischief. But it's got that cozy setting. And then the 4th book is where it changes more from cozy to, you know, more dark and kind of epic, as it should with how their ages are getting. So, but Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, gotta check it out. The next book was a big hitter. I believe it was last year. Super cozy read. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is basically fantasy with low stakes. I mean, this orc, and I forget what her name is. Viv. It was right on the tip of my tongue. So this orc named Viv, she used to go out and basically she's like a mercenary for hire kind of thing. Well, she's done with that life. She wants to settle down and bring a coffee shop. And I mean, in this setting, nobody knows what coffee is, so she has to teach. She has to bring it to light. So, yeah, she gets some help making her store. Then she gets some help with a lady who becomes a really good friend. She gets another guy to help with baking. Super fun, cozy read, and it's perfect for this time of year. The next book I'd like to recommend is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. There's 3 books in this series, and it's basically like a Regency romance, but with fairies, kind of. So this one, the character Theodora, she was basically cursed as a child, where she has literally half a soul. So she's a lot different than any of the other Regency girls, and her cousin is going to London for the season. So Dora basically goes with her for the season, not wanting to be a part of any of it. But her cousin is hell-bent and determined to find her somebody so that way she can then get married. Well, then she starts hanging around the Lord Sorcerer. And those two, I mean, then, you know, there's sparks and there's all kinds of stuff. And these are just super cute. But you don't have to read them in necessarily this order. Half a Soul is first, and then there's 2 others in this Regency series. But if you do read it in order, I mean, it does pull from each book. And if you read like the last one, you're not going to necessarily know anything, but you don't have to read it in the order. But yeah, super cozy, nice, lightweight, Regency romance. Love it. The next book I have to recommend is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This is kind of like a modern tale, fairy tale. And it has some like dark themes in it, but T. Kingfisher basically throws in so much humor on it that you just laugh through it. And so basically there is this princess, and her sister is married to a tyrant. And she wants to go and help her sister get out of it because her eldest sister got married to this guy first, and something happened to her. She either died, disappeared, something. So to keep the alliance with this kingdom, her mother then had her next sister in line marry the king. So the youngest sister is hell-bent determined to save her sister. So she meets a witch, a demon, what's it called? She meets a witch, and then she meets a possessed chicken, a knight along the way, and a fairy godmother. And they help her through her epic quest of saving her sister. It was a super quick, super fun read, and I definitely recommend it for the fall. The next book I would like to recommend is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This is YA fantasy, and if you like books that talk about books, this is the book for you, because the main character, Elizabeth, and then she lives in a library, basically grimoires. She takes care of the grimoires. She, dusts them, makes sure everything's fine, because these grimoires, they are living things. And she grew up in the library, which is different because most kids come to the library. They don't grow up in the library. So then there is a magistrate or whatever they call him. He's like a sorcerer or whatever. She gets in with a sorcerer, and they're basically trying to save their little area of demons coming in, basically. So this is just, I don't know how to describe it other than it's just a very fun read, and you will fall in love with these characters. I loved everything about this book. It was just so charming, and I need to read more from Margaret Rogerson, just because her writing was spectacular. And this one I definitely recommend for the fall, partly because it just has books in it, and what's better than reading a book about books in the fall? The next book I want to recommend is The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. This one, mainly I have to recommend because of the setting, and it takes place in the fall. September, October, witches and all that kind of stuff. So basically in this book, Vivi and her cousin accidentally place a curse on Vivi's ex summer fling, Rise. Well, Rise comes back to the town, and there's a little bit of like play between him and Viv, but he's cursed and he wants to figure it out. So Viv is also trying to help, and then there's attraction, and it all takes place in the fall. So this is why I recommend. It's super light to read, super cozy, super fun, a lot of banter, and I mean, what's better than a book in the fall? The next book I recommend is also by Erin Sterling. It is her recent release called The Kiss Curse. So this one is also, it also takes place in the world of the X-Hex, but the main character in this is Viv's cousin, Gwen. And Gwen is then having an attraction with Rye's brother, Wells. So it's more of a hate to love kind of relationship in this, but it also takes place in the fall, and then there's some witchy trickery going on, and Gwen loses her powers, and so her and Wells have to try to figure out how to get him back and how to save the town. And this is just great. I'm almost done with this book. I should finish it here shortly, and I'm just loving every minute of it. I love the fall vibes. I love the witchy vibes, and it kind of reminds me of just Gilmore Girls, you know? So those are all the books that I recommend for a cozy fall read. Let me know what other books you recommend for a cozy fall read, as I would love to know. And I will see you soon with another video soon. Bye.